There are a few things that I think we need to talk about in regards to this game and what it means. Because the Vancouver Canucks have just defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins with a grand score of 4-3. And the crazy part is, it only took them 65 seconds to get the win. Okay, no, really, it was a 60-minute game, but the majority of offense from Vancouver came literally in a 65-second span. It was crazy. Absolutely amazing what the Vancouver Canucks were able to do in this one, and that second period will go down as one of the most exciting periods all year. But, as we had talked about earlier in today's show, Vancouver had themselves a really interesting opponent for tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins, featuring a core of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Karlsson, who are all in the latter stages of their NHL career. We had spoken in today's show earlier about how Rick Tocchet compared Quinn Hughes to Sidney Crosby, that undying desire to improve and become better, striving for perfection on every shift. But today, for a Pittsburgh Penguins team that got absolutely smoked yesterday against the Edmonton Oilers, it was the second half of a back-to-back, and they tried, they really did, to get back onto the horse. It just wasn't enough, though, as the Vancouver Canucks took the dub, even though Pittsburgh did start out the scoring, and at one point they even had a 2-0 lead in this game. Pittsburgh got the only goal of the first period. It was Anthony Beauvillier, of all people. Yeah, amazing to see him getting out there on the board with his third goal of the year and his first goal since that 2-goal performance to open up the season. Malkin plays the puck over to Marcus Pettersson. He drives one towards the goal, and it's Beauvillier in front, who is tied up by Tyler Myers, but not really tied up because he was able to get the free stick to tip the puck right by Kevin Lankinen. 1-0 Pittsburgh after a first period where the Canucks could not capitalize on their multiple power play attempts. Michael Bunting went to the box for 6 minutes in the first period, with 4 of those 6 minutes being at a double minor capacity towards the end of the first. But the Canucks power play was just having a really difficult time getting set up, and they couldn't really control it, and they couldn't get any shots through. It was very difficult to watch the Vancouver Canucks get their power play opportunities in that first period. And what little opportunities they did have, they were getting easily thwarted away by Alex Nedeljkovic, who I admit had a pretty strong game up until the 65-second span that everybody is talking about. In the second period, Vancouver gets down the hole even further because all it takes is a minute 56 for Bryan Rust to end up wrapping the puck around and by Kevin Lankinen. It's assisted here by Evgeni Malkin, so his second of the night, his second assist, and Anthony Beauvillier, whose shot goes wide behind the goal. Rust is there to swoop the puck in on the far side, and Kevin Lankinen, unfortunately, is not able to get to the post fast enough. So it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. A lot of Pens fans I'm seeing, I'm reading their game day thread on the subreddit, the Pittsburgh Penguins subreddit. They're all kind of cheering, they're happy about it. They're saying, hey, they crapped the bed totally against Edmonton yesterday. So the best they could do is give a winnable and solid performance against Vancouver the next night. 2-0 lead, 1 minute into the second period, you got this, right? And the Canucks, admittedly, almost flubbed it, because Pittsburgh, not only did they have the Bryan Rust goal to open up the 2-0 period, but they also had more chances just over and over again. Big shots in front, point-blank saves by Kevin Lankinen. He was doing a really good job at keeping the Canucks down only 2-0, and not 3 or 4 or 5. There were a bunch of high-danger chances the Penguins got in that second period right after the Bryan Rust goal. So Kevin Lankinen doing his part. Sometimes you need a goaltender to steal you a few minutes, and that is exactly what Lankinen did. But it didn't really last for too long, because Vancouver, at the 4-minute mark of the second period, ended up getting a goal. It was Connor Garland, posted up behind the net. He throws it out in front for ELIAS Pettersson, wide open, by himself, in the slot. He takes a shot, and it's in, off the post, far side. Beautiful goal, and ELIAS Pettersson has the monkey off the back. His first goal of the season. Finally! It took him so long to get up here, and he ends up giving the Canucks life. And just 40 seconds later, guess what? It's Bryan Rust, the goal scorer, trying to go all Connor McDavid on Vancouver, streaking in through the neutral zone with the puck by himself. He ends up passing it back, and it gets swatted away by Kiefer Sherwood, who drops it off for Teddy Blueger. It then becomes a 2-on-1 rush. Blueger over to Sherwood, the one-time chance, and it is in the back of the net. 40 seconds is all it took, and it is a 2-2 game. Amazing. Then, literally just 30 seconds after that, you have the Penguins once more. Sidney Crosby trying to break in down low. Nope, sorry, he just loses it. Brock Boeser then has the puck, sends a long feed up to JT Miller, who comes in by himself behind the D. He shoots. Nedeljkovic makes the save. The rebound is loose, and then the puck somehow trickles over the line. It goes off of somebody, and JT Miller makes it 3-2. That is his fourth goal on the season, assisted by Brock Boeser. And at this point, I reloaded the Pittsburgh Penguins game day thread. Everybody is talking about the defensive breakdowns. Oh my gosh. Erik Karlsson, what are you doing? Why are you allowing JT Miller to just get around you and score a goal like that? Chris Letang on the 2-on-1, what's going on here? Bryan Rust, Sidney Crosby, what's happening? And then just 5 minutes later, leave it to the pride of Surrey, ARSHDEEP BAINS, to go out there and get his first NHL goal. It's a great play here as Daniel Sprong gets right around Erik Karlsson. One more time, Erik Karlsson for the beat. Sprong drives the net, low shot, rebound. ARSHDEEP BAINS is there to put the puck in the back of the net. And it's 4-2 Vancouver. All it took was about 5 minutes to go from down 2-0 to up 4-2, and 65 seconds to go from down 2-0 to up 3-2. Vancouver just took a total stranglehold in this game. And that continued into the third, where they did get some chances to open up the period, but you could definitely tell that Rick Tocchet's sort of system from last year was being implemented today once more. You remember the formula from last year, right? Get up a few goals, maybe get a 1-2 goal lead, and by the end of the second period, it doesn't matter how many more goals you score in the third. You just got to defend. And that was sort of the process that Rick Tocchet instilled within this Vancouver Canucks group. It's why they had so many gosh darn wins leading after 2 periods last season. They were crazy. Like, they were undefeated for, I think, the first 5/8 of the year with no losses in games where they started the third period with the lead. They eventually did lose a bit afterwards towards the end of the season, but it wasn't like that for the first half. And this was the formula we had seen today. Up 4-2, just hang on. Just keep the Penguins at bay. Now, to the Penguins' credit, they did get themselves a goal. Evgeni Malkin scored himself a really nice on-the-rush chance. It was a breakaway here for Gino. He forced it himself pretty much. As the puck got thrown into the neutral zone, Crosby touched it up, and then Gino went over with momentum, deked the pants out of Lankinen. He actually got hurt after the play because he drove himself shoulder first into the post, it looked like. And then by the end of it all, Pittsburgh had the empty net, Vancouver was hanging on, the Penguins were trying to get on the board. But ultimately, Vancouver stands the tests of time here. Despite their terrible power play performance and their inability to get some sustained offensive pressure on the man advantage, they were still able to capitalize on about 1 or 2 minutes of Pittsburgh Penguins' lackadaisical play. What a dominant shift, what a dominant few shifts, what a dominant few minutes for Vancouver to ultimately force the victory and give Kevin Lankinen 2 more points. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks beating the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3. Goal scorers include ELIAS Pettersson, Kiefer, Sherwood, Miller, ARSHDEEP BAINS, Bryan Rust, Beauvillier, and Evgeni Malkin. What stood out to you in this one? What do you think could have been improved upon? I thought Nedeljkovic had a really strong game in this one, especially for the first 30 minutes or so. I mean, you can't really get too upset at him for all the goals that were scored. I mean, a lot of these aren't really his fault after all. Rebounds in the slot? What's that JT Miller shot? Is that Nedeljkovic's fault? I don't want to say so. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments about this game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.